Hi everyone, this is Norman Kochnick here from Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick. Of course, we're here live yet again. We are waiting for a match to take place in just on an hour's time between India, of course, and Australia. It's the second T20 International that's being held this time it's in Nagpur. It was previously in Mohali. It'll be in the third match. It'll actually move to Hyderabad. So at this stage, Australia won quite handsomely at the end there against an Indian side. They look pretty good anyway, having scored the 200 plus runs to get to win. India batted well, so did Australia. So it was a good contest. Indian bowling was a little bit, unfortunately, below par, but otherwise I think India will come back quite strong in this match if they get a chance to play, because there is a fair bit of conjecture as to whether or not the game will go ahead because of rain. There's been a fair bit of rain. I spoke to Tabasha Sen from Extra Time and Rev Sports with Bumrah. They both told me that the weather hasn't been great, but that doesn't mean the game won't be played. It may still go ahead, so we'll wait and see what transpires there in India. Let's just see if we can get a person joining us. Nilakshi Nilakshi, you're here. I saw you a second ago. Anyway, Nilakshi Sharma will be joining us shortly, I think. And Ayushman Singh has said that I'm only here. Who will win? Well, I think that realistically, India have to come back, and I think they will. They will, in fact, come back. We'll have Nilakshi Sharma here very shortly. I'll just lay out. I'll just put it as the one person for the moment until she comes. But yes, it'll be. You have to think a bit of a revenge for Australia against Australia by India. I think India will come back strongly. Again, the toss may have some significance here, but I think that you would argue that India will come back, and I think they'll come back quite strongly. In fact, there aren't any changes to the Australian side as far as what we've heard. But there may be a change to the Indian side. That's what the latest word that I've had evidenced in front of me. I'll just have a look what's going on here. Let's have a look. I did recall there being some potential changes there to the Indian side. Let's have a look. There's a couple of interesting stats come through. Let's have a look here. Okay. We're looking at some Team India stats here. Let's have a look. Okay, she's not there. Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Well, the weather looks pretty good from what I saw. And that always means we should have a bit of luck in play. Let's have a look here. I'm just trying to find this particular breakdown of the Indian side. Yeah, well, please reply. I really, Cameron Green, new shame, Australia team. Yeah, he looks like he will be. India is known for bounce back. Yeah, certainly are, Himansharella. That's what we're expecting. Hello, Nilakshi.
Hello, Norman. How are you?
Good. You got a nice pink background there.
Yes.
So, what's the weather like in your part of the world?
Sorry?
What's the weather like in your part of the world?
It's very hot.
Is it raining? Because it seems to be raining. It was raining in Nagpur.
No, it's not raining here. It's just the weather is like 32 to 34 degrees Celsius, but the humidity is unbearable.
Okay. So we've got some questions here. Ashman Singh already did reply. Today's prediction, please. Who's going to win? Well, as I suggested earlier, Nilakshi, I was talking about India's bounce back. There should be a good chance that India will win this match. I think India did very well in the first match, but unfortunately, Australia just seemed to handle the conditions better. But I think India will bounce back quite hard. They had some bowling concerns last match, but I think they're going to win. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right. The bowling unit has been a bit of concern since the Asia Cup, I think. Before the England series, we saw some improvement in white ball cricket, and we thought that at least white ball cricket is good to go. But now it seems the same mistakes are repeating again, just like the T20 World Cup last year.
Yes.
We don't, we are not having a good option in the death overs, which is a bit of concern.
Yeah, there seems to be some discussion that Jasprit Bumrah will replace. He's ready to go now. He is fit, and he'll replace Umesh, and even Ashwin might be considered over Yusendra Chahal, which will be interesting. Let's wait and see.
Uh, Ashwin is a good choice, but I think Ravi Bishna should also give him a chance. No, he's a very young and talented player, and we saw what he did in Asia Cup. So why not give him the chance, right?
I agree, but they seem to be not favouring him for some reason. I don't know why. Australia will probably keep the same side, which was Aaron Finch, Cameron Green opening, Steve Smith, Maxwell, Josh Inglis, Tim David, who seemed to be pretty good in his first day, Matthew Wade, Cummins, Ellis, Zampa, and Hazelwood. So the Indian team, what they're saying is Rohit Sharma and Rahul again with Kohli at first drop, Sky, followed by Hardik Pandya, Dinesh Karthik. Now, I think they should give good old Punt a go again. Akshar Patel, Harsh Patel, Bhuvaneshwar, Kumar, Jasprit Bumrah should come in for Umesh, and they're saying Ashwin. What's Himanshu Rahala saying?
Yeah, sorry, I can't. Hello, Imanshu. I'm good.
What does he say? Okay, can I
Oh,
ask?
he said, how am I? How am I
Okay.
doing? Please say.
Okay, guys, I don't want these sort of comments where people say reply. People say reply, reply. I don't want those comments, please. Don't. If you write a comment, then don't say reply, reply. That's not very. It's a little bit rude. So please just keep your comments to the comment. Don't keep asking to reply. That's not necessary. Okay, guys, please let us talk and we'll answer as best we can. But don't insist that we reply because we may not be able to do it all the time. We try our best. Okay. India is great always, just Paul was saying. India, look, I still think India have got the team to win the World Cup coming up next month. And what's happening in these matches will be important, but I think that it's still a long way from, they've got to get better.
I think this team is something, it's a very strong team, but when we expect to win the World Cups, then they really disappoint us. Yes, it's really unpredictable. Sometimes the batting is unpredictable, sometimes the bowling is not consistent. So I think it's not just the captainship. It does not have to do with the captainship. It has to do with the selectors too.
Absolutely. There's no consistency in their selections. There's been a lot of chopping and changing. Again, Dinesh Karthik, why he's in front of Rishabh Pant, I don't understand that. Even though Dinesh Karthik's played very well, Pant is the top keeper. He should be left in the team. What is my name? My name is not angry. I just want people to not keep on asking us to apply because it's like saying, insisting things is not what this show's about. We've got to share.
But Pant is also unpredictable. I mean, he's just bad shots. Sometimes he's just out for nothing. I mean, he's just good for nothing sometimes in T20 format. So
True.
that's why I think they choose Dinesh Karthik. But in the last match, I think he got only 12 overs or something like that. He didn't got much overs to prove himself. So if Dinesh Kante wants to perform, then he should go on up. What do you think?
I think Dinesh Karthik has been a great servant for Indian cricket, but I think at his age, I think he's 37 or thereabouts. He certainly deserves to be in the top level, but we've got Rishabh Pant, the younger, more future-based keeper who's done very well as a match winner in many formats, whether it's test or short form. I think he needs to be given the first chance. In terms of Dinesh Karthik, maybe they can use him as an extra batsman, as a finisher. But otherwise, I'm not sure whether he can have both. And I think Punt deserves the first go. Yeah, this is a good point by Himanshu Vella. Green's last ball innings, white ball innings, 40, 25, 26, and 89 and 61. Yeah, I think that. But then again, Hardik Pandya, he also got runs, didn't he, in the last match?
Yeah, he got 71 runs, I think, of 30 balls, like that.
Moses Sheikh, how are you?
Hi guys.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Have you met Nalakshi Sharma before?
No, I haven't.
No.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you very much.
All right, so we were talking about this match, Mosen, in regards to, well, we've got the Pakistan match that also occurred last night, which we should give time to because Pakistan were brilliant. My God, Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan, unbeaten double century opening partnership, won the match, what looks like with ease, quite contrary to the first match. But I wish that Pakistan could perform like this in every match because they'll win the whole tournament. They obviously have some great batters.
Absolutely. No, that's true. Especially after copying so much from the ex-players, both Rizwan and Babar doing so well. And their record shows over the last so many years, they've been opening together for the last 3 years, and they've got 600 plus opening partnerships. So, it reflects on how well these two are batting. But they've flocked a lot of flocking from the ex-Pakistan cricketers and whatnot. So, which was very unfair and uncalled for. So I think the response was fantastic. And I think the worry, as a lot of people have been identifying, is in the middle order, not the top order. So I think Pakistan will have to do well if their middle order has to get their act together. I know their fast bowling's been a little bit underdone with Shaheen not there, but still the pitch was so flat that you saw 200 got chased as well in 19 overs. So I wouldn't blame the bowling as much because it's different conditions in Australia here. You get a lot of bounce, you get a lot of pace off the pitch. But it's the worry for me in Pakistani batting order is their middle order. They've got to get their act together in next 8 or 10 T20s before they come to Australia.
Look, I think India and both India and Pakistan are suited to playing in Australia by far.
India is by far the well-prepared Asian teams. If you look at all the Asian teams, India is by far the well-prepared team. You look at the guys like Pandya, Pant, Rahul, Sharma. They all play short ball really well. They don't have issue with pace and the bounce that coming into their batting lineup. So I think India is most rounded team out of all the Asian teams. Sri Lanka is good for their own conditions of slow and low pitches. We saw when last year Sri Lanka came in for a few 2020s, it was a bit of a struggle for Lankan batters. I think they will still be in the same frame. And what we saw in the Asia Cup, they came back really well on a slow pitches, which actually gone slower over the time. But I think out of the subcontinent team, India is the most prepared for the Aussie bouncy pitches.
Absolutely. Just looking at some comments here. Naveen Sharma, what are your views on Harsh Patel? He is too expensive. Having 11 plus economy and taking some wickets is not good enough at all. I think Sharma is far better than that. Agree. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Shami is a better executor, and in Aussie pitches he would have been very handy. Unfortunately, they've gone past Shami for the World Cup, which is unfortunate. I think he's still he's had one injury comeback, and I think India have gone past for the Aussie series. So I think he's still unfortunate. He can consider himself unlucky for missing out for the World Cup.
Okay. All right, so we've got some more comments there. Now, actually, Australia has never won in Nagpur. Will that record be broken? That's a good question. if they play. Not
Yeah.
playing.
No, I know.
Any answers? What do you guys think?
I think this Nagpur pitch is batting friendly. So, I mean, the bowlers will have a chance to show. You're breaking up a lot now. No? I can't hear you.
Me? No, you're right. I think most.
I was
When you're
saying
not
the
speaking, most, you might want to just put yours on mute. Try again, Nalakshi. Can you hear me, Nalakshi? Oops, we've lost her. Right, Moses. We'll get Nalakshi back shortly. Nalakshi is an area of India where the actual connections usually not great.
Fair enough. I think what she was alluding to towards Nagpur pitch, I think I tend to agree with it. It's very batting friendly pitch, small outfield as well. So it would be interesting how Aussies go about their business. I think the way they've started off looks really well, especially with Cam Green. And we were talking about Cam Green last time when we were on show, and I said, look, that experiment that they're going to try and turn him into what they utilized from Shane Watson going up the top and going hard, and that paid off. He went up top and he really went hard, and a lot of teams are now already talking about him getting signed up for the IPL. The way he gone about his business with the ball, with the bat, he's definitely a good fielder. He's three-dimension player for you, and I think that's what the best thing for an all-rounder spot for Australian white ball cricket is that if he goes up the top, obviously after the World Cup there will be a chance or spots available with Warner, Finch, Smith, all in no certainty to continue. So I think there will be an opportunity for Cam Green to go up top and make the opening spot his own.
Okay. We've got you back, Nalakshi. Can you hear me now? We're still adjusting. All right, the other question here is, this is a good point. Prabhajan saying exactly 30 days from now, India will be playing Pakistan in Melbourne in the T20 World Cup. You can hear me now? You can't hear me. Why can't you hear me? I'm not. Can you hear me now? Are you on mute? Okay, we're losing everybody here. They'll come back, guys. So look, if it is 30 days from now, it's going to be quite a big uptake of this whole thing. 30 days to go before we see India play Pakistan in Melbourne. What an amazing game that'll be. VJ, now can
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay. All right, I was just saying about if it's 30 days between India and Pakistan, it's going to be quite amazing.
Absolutely. And first game sold out within short time. I think within an hour, all the MCG tickets were sold. People are still chasing tickets out and about, so there will be a lot of tickets out for people who pay premium price and buy it off street or something. But
Nilakshi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, now we've lost Mosen for some reason. Oh my God. Oh, Mosen, just you can't hear me. I can't hear you. I can't hear you either. Disconnect and connect, Mosen.
Right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes. Okay, it was just Mosen we couldn't hear for a moment. Okay. Aussies have never won in Nagpur. That's an interesting point. Exactly 30 days to the World Cup we were talking about. Vijay Moore says, hi Norman, can anyone predict the T20 results performance between two good teams with high quality players on both the side? It is true. It's difficult to pick. Do you recommend bowling 3 overs during power play? I think in his best form, yes. I would say yes to that. All right, Mosen, you back?
Yes,
what I was saying is that in this Nagpur pitch, the average total score is about 170, like that. So batting in the second half will be difficult. it will be hard to chase down.
Yes, I think you're right. I think you're very much right. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring match, especially if it's been rain affected. It should favour the bowlers, you would think. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's been knocked a bit because of his form of late, but he is a top line bowler when it counts. What do you think, Moses?
Bhuvi is a top line one. I think he's not made for death overs. What do you say?
Okay.
No,
What do you think?
Bhuvi definitely is a quality bowler. It's just that the conditions that he got presented last game, where the ball was not swinging as much, people start to line him up. And if you see, DK was actually keeping up to him, so his pace is not up as it used to be. So if a keeper's standing up to you and you're an opening bowler, your pace is down. His main weapon is swing. If he doesn't get the swinging condition or seaming condition, people are actually trying to line him up. But he's still a quality bowler. He will get decent swing in Australia. They're not playing in Perth or Gabba, so I think they'll still get decent enough bounce and swing if he gets up in front. I like the idea if he bowls. He doesn't bowl at depth because his number at depth are not pretty. He bowls up front, get the ball swinging, and gets done with his spell, and then then you have other bowlers, other options who can bowl at depth. If you look at his last full year's number at depth, they are over 10, and people are lining him up. So because of lack of pace and towards the older ball, he can't swing. So yeah, probably good suggestion to bowl him up top when ball is swinging and try and get the damage done.
Okay. But India just seemed to me to have gone off the boil with their bowling. Obviously, Bumrah is a major part of this, and so is Sharmi. They're their two leading bowlers, let's be honest, in any format. And Chahal, they're good players as well. Hardik Pandya can take an important role. I think Bumrah's missing. He needs to be there for the World Cup. What do you think?
Definitely.
I think Chahal is just lacking confidence, right? He's a fine leg spinner. He's just not in form right now. I think you need to give some more chances. What you say? Or Ravi Bishna can replace him.
I think the confidence is probably one thing that he's definitely lacking. He didn't put the house down in Asia Cup as well. He's been bowling too straight. If you look at yesterday, last game as well, he bowled too straight where he got lined up. His flight is bowling too flat. Whereas Akshar Patel was very effective because he tried to beat the ball from the inside of the bat, and I think he will be playing a decent role what Jadeja would have done. So I would definitely continue with Patel. But then with the second spinner, I think Chahal will get a good run in these 2020s. And then I think there's 3 one-days as well. And then you got South Africa as well for 3 2020s. So I think there's still plenty of game time that he can get before the World Cup. In Australia, he will get bounced because of the kind of bowler he is. He will get bounced. And with bounce, as you know, Norman, here in Australia, if you get a bit of a bounce here, you'll get top edges, which what a lot of our spinners here in Australia get with Nathan Lyon and Schwepson and even Agar. They get that bounce off the pitch. So I think Chahal will still be very effective in Australia, but I'm very impressed with Akshar Patel. He'll be doing a role with his left arm finger spin, and not many teams. I keep saying that long time ago. Not many teams actually go well against the angle where the left armers come and the pace. They keep getting beaten on the inside of the ball, which the left armers are becoming more and more effective. So I think that's a good matchup for Australian pitches for him. I know the other spinner that you mentioned. I think he's too quick for Australian pitches. The pace that he bowls hard into the pitch, and in Australia he'll get lined up because he hits the deck hard and doesn't allow the ball to spin. So in Australia, you need to have that ability to go where the ball, allow the ball to turn, and because grounds are big, you get really good value for your flight and the variation in the pace. and you get a lot of wickets as a spinner. Look at Rashid Khan's record in Australia. Look at Mujib's record in Australia in white ball cricket. Schwepson for Australia. Nathan Lyon. There's a lot of spinners who've been recently very successful with the spin bowling.
Now, as you may have said, the toss has been delayed. There's a ground inspection at 7 p.m. with effect I would probably understand as well, which is 11:30 here with us. So that means the inspection happens 11:30. They may toss right there and then. We're still looking at another half an hour for the toss go. I guess with T20 cricket, it's not too bad. But we only here in Australia can only be up to certain times. We become very tired. And they'll actually, you can start late because where you are, it's
So where are you from, Nilakshi? I think she dropped off.
She's from Assam.
Assam, okay.
And she's been on a number of times over the period. And she was originally a fan. I got on a show during a fan phase of my broadcast, and she's good. She tries hard. It's great to see her on. And she asked me back on this wrestling.
Nice, it's fantastic. The thing is with the toss, Norman, you said it's getting delayed as well. With the time that gets delayed in 2020, they only start to get the overs chopped off, because it's not like one day. It's not like test match where you can make up time. With 2020, you allocated time, and the minute you start delaying things and whatnot, you start losing overs straight away. So I hope they don't lose many overs for this game and they get the game going, because obviously fans are fanatics in India. They love watching cricket, and especially they love watching Australia play India. And it is one of the good rivalries where India and Australia playing a lot of cricket these recent past as well. So and India have been winning against Australia. So that's the other thing that makes these contests really interesting, because they've been watching them together. A lot of Australians play IPL as well. So I think that's why it's important for fans' sake, and for especially for guys who bought tickets and want to go to the ground, for their sake. I'm hoping that the game gets on sooner rather than the later delay. I know we can't control weather, but it's unfortunate that the delays that will happen will start losing overs.
What we might do when we were talking, we might go on mute, because I think this is an echo. So if you're not talking, great. So all right. So there's Abhishek Sharma saying there's a disturbance, and he's not talking about me. Okay, just quickly, I'm just having a bit of a laugh while we're sitting here. I'm waiting for the telecast to start, and we've got EuropeanCricket.com playing, and they've got Netherlands, Denmark playing Finland, Sweden. I'm surprised, and sorry, it's not that. It's on a mat pitch. Okay, I'm giving them some benefit of the doubt, but it's not riveting cricket. Anyway, can you hear me clearly now? Can you guys just nod your head? So what I'll do is I'll direct to Mohsen and then you talk. I'll direct to Nilakshi, you talk, so we can save on this issue. Okay. All right. Mohsen, what's your thoughts?
Look, I think the ICC is trying to blood a lot of money towards the European League and trying to get America in on board as well. There's a lot of leagues happening in America with on matting wickets as well. I mean, for the sake of cricket, I think it's good that they are trying to get them cricket. They're trying to get. There are a lot of expats who are playing cricket in those regions. But to give them a lot of airtime, I think it is for a traditional cricket watcher. I think it is. You can't watch the quality or standard of cricket at this point in time. It will take a little bit of time for us to get those teams up and going. I know in Holland are here in Brisbane, and they're going to be playing a couple of practice games against Brisbane Heat as well. So a good challenge, but I think it will take a little bit more time for them to come on board.
Sorry, you are breaking up a lot.
But Nilakshi, when you're not speaking, put yours on mute as well. When you're not speaking, because I think when we are both, when all three of us are on, there's a problem. So when we're not,
No,
speaking,
I can't. I'm not able to hear you. I'm
Me?
getting a lot of issues with my internet today.
That's
So
okay.
I'll try to join later if I see.
Okay. Okay. Purnalakshi is in an area, Mosen, which is a little bit well, it's got its problems. Assam normally has a lot of, it's quite a non, not it's a more rural area than that's more I can go. Okay. But the Netherlands, they're playing. They're a good side. And they're captained or coached by Ryan Campbell, which
Tom Cooper, if you remember, he played for South Australia. He played in Brisbane Heat and Redbacks as well. So he's representing Netherlands as well. So he's part of the team as well. So he can play. And there are a couple of guys who actually go around the leagues and they're playing, showing off their trade. And a lot of their guys actually go to England and play in their English summer. So that's. Having said that, the other teams, I think that's what they're trying to get to a level where they can compete and play at the second tier ICC tournaments, and that's what would be promotion for cricket. Obviously, as you see, Papua New Guinea qualified for last year World Cup as well. Vanuatu, they're spending a lot of money in our region, so it's initiative is good for ICC. I think they need to send qualified coaches like Campbell is in Holland as well, and then the other European countries and countries like Nepal has been coming along really well. Hong Kong's coming along really well. So, it's interesting. I think cricket has started to get promoted a lot in China and Japan. I know there's a couple of coaches from Pakistan have gone into Japan, and ACC, the Asian Cricket Council, is trying to promote game in those regions. Imagine if China comes on board and the amount of population they have and they take on the game. I'm sure you'll find 20 good cricketers in China with the amount of population they have. In a few years' time, all of a sudden, the game will be between China and USA. So, and if
let's not go that far. I don't want it to.
No.
That would spoil it.
If the game goes
But
into
look, the fact is, cricket is the second biggest sport in the world in terms of numbers, behind soccer, and more so women's cricket. It's really taken off. In countries where there was no men playing, like Peru, for example, Bolivia.
And the thing would be, I think they'll get a lot of boost if the Olympic in Australia will adapt T10 or T20 format of cricket, and we'll have the cricket for the Olympics. And now the format is that allows 3 hours a game, which is fair enough time to play a game of cricket in the Olympics. So that would be a really good boost for our sport.
Oh, for sure. So nobody's talking about spinners venue. Well, Chaitanya Kulkarni, we have been actually. Nalakshi was on earlier. She was pushing Ravi Bishnoi quite a bit, and I think he is a good bowler. But India now have a problem, a good problem, but they've got a problem. They've got too many good players, and they all want to be in the side. And if someone's not the side, they want to throw someone else in there. They've got to start to get a bit more refined and keep the same side and make a decision and stick to them. Because you can't, I don't believe you should chop and change all the time. It's good to have replacements for certain conditions, but I think the danger is you don't create, any team needs to be in cohesion, don't they? Would you agree? Rugby certainly, but cricket as well.
Absolutely. I think the important part now, especially this close to the World Cup, you want to keep your core combinations and then rotate one or two spots that you think are going to get some more game time. So reduce the bench time for all the players and give other guys who you think that one or two spots are 50-50, give them a go. But you want to keep your core together and you want to keep your core playing most of the games rather than on a bench. So I think that's where opportunity, especially for Pakistan, India, who are going to play at least 6-7 T20s. Pakistan is going to play 12-13 T20s before the World Cup. I think in a short span of time, get your core combination sorted, especially for Pakistan in the middle order, and for India, their bowling stops. So which spinners they're going to go with, which paces they're going to go with, and then 1 or 2 spots will always be rotating spots. So get your core right. Pakistan to get their middle order core right, and India to get their bowling core right. I think these two teams have got a relatively weaker pool, and they both can qualify for the semi-finals. And then from semi-finals, we've seen in last so many World Cups, who knows what happens is just whoever's got a lucky day on that day, they'll go through.
I agree. I still think Australia, England, like in one camp, who are able to handle this. But India and Pakistan have got both are more than capable of doing it. Look what Pakistan has done to England. Absolutely smashed them.
Absolutely, absolutely. On a pitch that was a new pitch, started to stay low, and skiddy as well. Everyone on top 200 was about 20 over par. But the thing is, the batters, they planned the chase really well. They didn't get flustered with the big total. And Rizwan started off while Babar continued his traditional way of playing. And then he caught up. He caught up at the end and scored a fantastic 100, which after the last 4 or 5 innings, he was struggling to get 30 plus. He got 30 odd last game. And then all of a sudden, he's amongst the runs again. So this is first time after 2019 that he's dropped off the top 3 spots in a T20. So which is really good. Like 3 years, he's been top 3 batter, if not number 1. So all of a sudden, he scored 100. He'll get some more runs. He'll be back in top 3. So, and Rizwan, look, his form has been phenomenal for the last couple of years. The guy who was on bench for Karachi Kings. I remember when I went to PSL and I spoke to him, and he said, look, the guys are not giving me a chance when he was a reserve keeper at Karachi Kings 3 years ago. And people were saying because he can't play the format as at pace, so they were benching him. So it's unfortunate for Karachi Kings, but fortunate for Rizwan. He keep working hard, and now look, he's number 1 T20 batter.
Look, you look at the T20 highest run scorer. Rohit Sharma's 1, Kohli's 2. Bubba is now, I think, 5th. Because I'm not sure. I think who's in front of him? There's Sterling from Ireland, amazingly.
Yeah,
I think Aaron Finch.
Yeah.
Anyway, the fact is that the 3 best batsmen in the world are Sharma, Kohli, and Bubba.
No doubt.
I mean, and people need to get off their backs because they are sensational players. And Australia, even though they won the previous match, Hardik Pandya still scored runs. If Sharma and Kohli and KL Rahul as well, if they get their act together, they're going to smash Australia in the back. Even in Australia,
we're forgetting Yadav in the middle as well. The guy is actually number 2 batter at the moment, the number 3 batter. He is been hitting phenomenal forms as well. He's had a really good IPL last 2 years consistently, and he's been very consistent in the middle order for India as well. So the batting, I think the batting is sorted for the core 5 or 6, and 1 or 2 spots always open. But the thing that India needs to sort out is their pace bowling and spinner combination. And that's a reverse of a problem that Pakistan had. They got to make sure they got number 3, 4, and 5 sorted.
Now Mohammed said that matches are interesting, certainly are, but so are Indian matches too. Norman said nothing has changed for India over the last Billy. Look at the Aussies, English, proper match winners. Can't see India match them in 2 weeks. I hope that's not true. I don't think it's true. What do you think, Moses? I think
they have a lot of match winners. KL Rahul on the day can win a match for you. So is Pant. I think Pant has got to get a lot of game time now. Karthik we saw struggle a little bit. He's still probably number 1 gloveman, but he's not adding value that India would be looking from late order. I think Pant is a match winner for you. Pandya is a match winner for you. India have got Rahul. Who can forget Kohli and Sharma? You know, there are a lot of match winners. The issue that I see and a lot of commentators you hear is they continue to talk about the bowling stops. Bhuvi can be getting lined up, especially the grounds that India are going to play here in Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney. they're not playing a Perth and Gabba. Remember that. The grounds that India is going to play, ball's not going to swing as much. So if the ball's not swinging, Bhuvi becomes hittable. And that's what happened last game. Last game, ball stopped swinging. It didn't actually swing for him. So all of a sudden, his pace is down. DK was keeping up to him like a spinner. And batters just lined up to him. Cam Green just kept hitting through the line. And all of a sudden, if his length was off, he would pull him. And if he's fuller, he was just going down the ground. And he just teed off. So you've got to sort out your pace bowling to get that combination locked in for World Cup.
Absolutely. Many will say, intriguingly enough, why India is playing in Perth and Brisbane. But that was not anything doing it the way it turned out. And interestingly enough, though, India are basing themselves in their preliminary training before they reach the main games.
And then they come to Brisbane and do play a few practice games and whatnot, and then the interesting part is that they're playing their practice games here. They're playing against Australia. I sent you the schedule, didn't I? And then they go off to Melbourne and the other grounds, but the grounds that they're doing practice, they're not playing.
It's strange.
Interesting.
Look, I do think India would like to get used to Australian wickets at the most extreme, perhaps. That's probably the reason, because we don't know. The pitches may turn out to be belters in Melbourne. It might be very flat tracks, or at least bouncy tracks. We don't know that.
Actually, both MCG and Adelaide, they're both drop-in pitches. MCG, if you look at the last couple of years, scores from first-class cricket when the season has begun, the pitches have not done well. There's been a lot of runs scored in Shield. There's been a lot of runs scored in one day. The pitch settles in. If people understand the drop-in pitch concept, once they drop the pitch in, pitch has to settle in before it starts giving you that bounce and pace and all of that. Whereas Adelaide pitch is response really better compared to Melbourne because of the condition, the weather and everything. So Melbourne pitch takes time to settle in, and footy season's just finished. So there's not enough time. There's about a month's time that the pitch has been placed in at MCG. They haven't played. They played at Junction today. There was a one-day game between New South Wales and Victoria, and they played at Junction. So the MCG pitch is not ready even as we speak. So it will take time to settle in, and it will suit India. It will suit subcontinent pitch teams because the pitch will be not as bouncy. Adelaide would be bit more bounce because the conditions are not as cold or wet, and they're more dry. So the pitch will settle in. The drop-in pitch will settle in.
Okay. So they made the wet outfield is the reason to play because there is no rain there. So we're going to get play. It's just a matter of time. But look, I'm excited about all of it. I think not just because it's in Australia, but I think it's a good spectacle. Last year's spectacle was played in the UAE. No one really could go, could they? I think it was no crowds, was there?
No. And
so we're going to have crowds in Australia.
Absolutely. Corona came in the middle of competition as well, so it was all uncertain, and I think it's good to get all the audience back on ground and timing, and everyone loves the pitches in Australia because ball will travel with it will help both bat and ball. It's even contest, so I think it's exciting time.
No quarantine.
No quarantine.
No real need for masks.
No, all good.
Even in taxis and Ubers now in West Sydney. I'm assuming is the same in Brisbane. No
restrictions.
That's pretty much ready to go. So Amjad Razas is by Norman, sir, and the slums of Morrison Bay. Bay is like brother, isn't it?
Bay's brother, yeah, true.
Okay. Now he wants to. We're already talking about prediction on Australia 17-20. I think India will come back.
Yeah. We just want the game to get on. I think at this point in time, there's still no movement in the ground for the game start time. I think they're looking at half an hour. They said, which is probably 11:30 our time, Norman, if I'm correct.
11:30 they'll do it, and they'll probably start by 12 hours.
By 12.
They may do a toss on the inspection.
True. And then Pakistan are taking on England tonight as well. So that starts at 12:30 our time. And I think Pakistan should take a lot of momentum. They will probably use the same pitch they used yesterday. I think what Barber, if you listen to Barber, what he said, that overnight under lights the ball was skidding, which helped him because they liked the ball skidding off. England went with 3 spinners. I think they will revert back to 2 spinners and bring back another pacer in their team. I think 3 spinners under light didn't work. The ball didn't spin as much as what they were predicting. And same for Pakistani spinners. It didn't spin. The game got controlled in the middle by the pace rather than spin. When Haris Rauf and Dhani took the pace off, they bowled a lot of slow balls in the middle. So that's where the game got controlled. But this kind of pitch always is really good when pace is on and no spin. So it's batting paradise. So I think Pakistan should take a lot of heat from yesterday's chase. But it's going to be a fresh game. I think they both start 50-50 for me, for Pakistan and England. And I hope that India-Australia game really gets on. And I'd like to see India bounce back as well.
I think India are going to win again. Not forgetting it's at home. I think Pakistan have worked themselves out a bit. But again, tosses are playing a role. Ravi Shastri has just said the team that wins the toss should bowl first. Was it? I think it was bowl first. I think that's what he said. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I think it is. It's hard to chase at Nagpur traditionally. 160, 170 becomes very challenging traditionally at that pitch because it starts to get slower and lower.
Yeah, Ravi Shastri did say if he were to be the one winning the toss, he would telling his captain to bowl first. Yeah, look, it frustrates me that we're even talking about tosses. I really wish it didn't factor into a game. It shouldn't. And I don't care about pitches now. If you're a good enough side, you should be able to win either batting or bowling first. Honestly, if you're a good enough side, you should be able to do it against whatever expectations there are. So again, I'm saying India, you're saying India. I think we're both saying Pakistan. Australia and England, it's almost like Australia and England versus India versus Pakistan. It is the case at the moment. And even when they're in Australia, those 4 sides are going to be in the mix. I can't see anyone else breaking that mix. I really can't.
Yeah, you got to remember that Stokes got to come back in England side, while Australia is going to get their all-rounders back as well, plus their Stark and whatnot. So it's going to be some of the strength these 2 teams are going to gain. Pakistan's going to get Shaheen back. India still, Bumrah is to come back. So there's few X factors in 4 teams. They've got to come back. And that will make even more exciting viewing for us, for audience, for everyone.
Absolutely. There was someone else asked earlier about the South African, let's call it IPL, the South African version, along with the UAE version. It's going to be, in my opinion, revolutionary what's going to happen now. The definite move to a franchise all year round of Indian money, it seems inevitable. It's here.
My only concern is the 2 leagues in UAE and South Africa are going to clash with each other, and they both are backed by Indian investors. So whether they're eventually going to find a window for both leagues, and that will overrule our Big Bash, or whether those 2 leagues are going to push each other and one of the leagues is going to close down. So it's going to be interesting to see over the next couple of years how that works out. Because UAE League have got similar investors what South African League have, and they overlap with each other. And that is not a good sign for any investor. You don't want to be competing against your own teams in financial model. Whereas if they both go one after the other, then Australian Big Bash is in real threat unless we get foreign investment as well. As you saw,
we're stubborn. Australia is way too stubborn for this. They're going to be too proud to get involvement with the IPL owners, and it's going to be to the demise of Australian BBL.
even if they sell like 40% of shares and control the 60%, you still have investment coming in that's going to filter in towards your grassroots cricket. It's more money to your own cricketing model, and also you'll try and start to build up your own window, which, you know, December to January, it's like nobody else used to play. Now you've got UAE League in January, and late January you've got South African League. All the players that got picked in a draft are only available between December mid till early January. So 6 or 7 games later, all your internationals are going to go. What are you going to have? Your test players are not going to part. Your overseas players are not going to take part. So you're going to end up, and all the other players of icon are going into one or the other leagues. So you're left with second tier overseas players. So your league standard will always drop. So this year already, you see a lot of teams have stuck with the players like Rashid Khan. He's only available for till 6th of January. James Mints for Sixers is only available for 5th of January as well. So that's 16 days window. So you can get 4 or 5 games out of these guys, and that's it. So what will happen in January? You lose all these overseas players and have a weaker competition. So, and if that continues next year, you know, you already saw from last year how much the league suffered with COVID restrictions, protocols, and not people coming in to Australia for all those reasons. And this year you've got other 2 leagues to compete who have got commercial interest. So I think we're in trouble.
Sam Hislop, do not write this sort of comment. Read my comment, please. I'm reading it. Don't worry. Green loves gather wickets. South Africa needs to become to be wary. They certainly do. And Moses, Sam wants your idea about Will Pucovski's innings today.
Excellent. I love this kid, and I think I've been harping about Koski getting into test side as well. We wish him well for his health, because the poor kid has gone through a lot of mishaps with injuries and concussions and whatnot. He looks in good health. He looked organized at crease today. And good on him for winning the game. He went to the wet weather, Duckworth, and then in last over they end up winning. So Koski staying for the whole game was really good, because it was 29 over game it turned out to be, and it's good for him to be staying on par for all of that game and then continue to build on that. I think he's got a future.
Now, here's what we've talked about. People is better off without if they can survive financially. Yes. Harris Ralph established himself in the BBL. He did, and then he became a part of Pakistan League. True. BBL find him. Devendra Singh Gurjai. Just quickly, everyone's been talking about Green and he won 30 balls when Australia won. We're forgetting that Pandya was 71 or 30 balls. He was completely not mentioned.
No.
It's remarkable.
It is, yeah. Look, India cannot consider Pandya 2 years ago being fit and adding that much value, because the guy had gone through rehabs and injuries and whatnot. He's come back. He's started to bat well. He hits the ball long way. The thing is, he hits the ball as well to spin and pace. His numbers against both are really well. And the most pleasing part for me is that he's bowling. He's back bowling. He adds that balance. And I think I said that before, what Kapil Dev was to India in 80s for the one-day cricket, that he could play as a batter, he could play as a bowler. And that's what Pandya is to India at the moment. He can if he fouls with the bat, he adds value with the ball. If he fouls with the ball, he adds value with the bat. So he's a three-dimensional player. He covers two player spot in your team. So that's a really pleasing thing for me to see how he comes across as next few years. He's a leader as well. We saw him at IPL, how he led his team really well. He's very calm infield. You hardly see him emotionally getting frustrated and whatnot, and that's good quality of leader. And he's a good human being. I met him at the training. I'd send you the picture if you saw that. I had a good chat with him at the end of the training. We were starting and India was finishing. So I caught up with him. I wish him well with his recovery at the injuries and whatnot. He's very friendly off the field. He's very easy to approach and talk to. So I wish him well. I'd really like to see him succeed, and I think he will be your next India's next white ball captain.
You know, you're very interesting. If I'm being really honest with you, all the Indian players, when they're away from their on, are all nice.
Very nice. Absolutely. 100%.
Punts, Bumrah, Umesh was amazing. But I can't say the same about Australia. I'm afraid some of them are very aloof. I'm talking general, not specifically, but Australians have got more arrogance about them than we've ever seen an Indian player. When India may deserve that because they've got billions following them. There's something really right about what Sri Lanka's the same. Pakistanis, we know, all easy to get along, very approachable. But there's something missing with Australians. We've got this Dan Christian, who's a nice bloke, refuses to talk about. He doesn't want to. There's certain. I find that a bit. You're a public figure. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You have to be aware of that. You're not. All right, Sam Hislop. Yeah, we're talking about Ben Stokes. I think Sean Abbott should be given a chance. I'm not sure. I'm not as big a fan of Pandya being compared to Ben Stokes. I'd argue that Pandya could be even better than Ben Stokes in short format. Absolutely. Long in the test format, maybe not. But short format, I would go with Pandya if I had to choose one. What do you think of Mosen between Pandya and Ben Stokes in the short form?
Yeah, look, short form, I think Pandya has got more impact. I think if you look at the 2020, you hear a lot of commentators talk about impact players, and how impact that Pandya is making, like 70 of 30 balls, that's an impact to me. Ben Stokes is more your longer format impact player in one day or in Test cricket. Whereas if you're looking at short form cricket, I think there's no more impact player or in all round space than Pandya at the moment. His impact with the ball, he's 140 plus, he's fit, fantastic fielder anyway, and with the bat he can just take the game. He tees off, and his numbers against pace and spin are equally good. So that means that his impact against any kind of any type of bowler is going to be equally difficult to bowl to. So it's really high impact player for white ball cricket for me. Pandya is probably a lead for me.
The players are getting a bit frustrated. They're all milling now, I can see. Can you see that on the field?
Yeah. And it's
the umpires went around the edge. They're walking around the edge of the water. To me, it looks pretty good. Okay, Sam's pushing the 7-year-old Wiley to play for West Australia. I didn't see him play, but he obviously got talent. Bit early for him. Australia does not blood a person 17 years of age for their country. Simply don't.
That's very true. Yeah. And that's you got to in Australian tradition and Australian culture, you hardly see any 17-year-old playing for Australia. But I think that has to break. That has to change. Think guys like Sangha, even Tanveer Sangha, they're good enough. You got to throw them at the deep end. If they and they'll swing. They'll learn to swing from that.
Jason Sangha, he played for Australia, especially in Test cricket, will be scoring centuries.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt.
No doubt in my mind. And then obviously the Murphy kid that we all talking about, he's really good. His pace, his spin, his shape on the ball. He's playing one-day cricket. He played for Sixers as well towards the end of last year when we had the COVID and whatnot. The kid has actually got really smart head over his shoulder. He's a smart off spinner, and I think we've seen the tail end of Nathan Lyon anyway towards his career. I think this kid needs to be carried forward. Given opportunities in Australia, he will be really good off spinner for you. He's very traditional, The shape on the ball that he gets is very similar to what Nathan Lyon gets. He gets good bounce, good spin, and today he bowled really well in the Marsh Cup. So I have got good raps on him, and I think a lot of commentators are rating him already. So you got to throw these kind of kids into deep end, and you know they'll learn to swim. But traditionally, Australia have been, oh no, we wait, and then you know a lot of guys have missed out in the past. You look at Martin Love when he played, he scored a 100 and then 50 and never played Test cricket. So Brad Hodge, Stuart Law, a lot of cricketers should have been thrown at the deep end earlier.
Well, Curtis Patterson is the other one. He did nothing wrong at national level.
100 against New Zealand, and he's still not even considered.
Look, there's some things which are very evident to me. Warner, Smith, and certainly, I mean, Warner, Smith, absolutely, and Nathan Lyon, and even you might argue the likes of Stark. Those players, albeit very good for their country, probably need to start to look at reducing the formats they're playing.
Absolutely.
And they're not. But in fact, Dave Warner wants to be captain now. And Steve Smith wants to. Now, you know what? They've both had their time. Albeit very good careers. I'm not denying that. It's time we start to look beyond them because we're going to wait too late. And you're right. We're going to miss out on the Bukowskis or the Sangers. We're not going to give them the opportunity to flourish when they are on the rise. And I think it's time. It has to be after this World Cup, the end of Warner Smith's short form career.
Absolutely. Not wrong in saying that. We've seen over the last 20 odd years, 30 odd years that, you know, it's been the tradition when we give, like Kaddish played at 30s. The guy's been scoring thousands of runs previously, and we gave him a run when he was 30. Hussey, prime example. So we need to get these guys. We don't have to wait when Sanger's 30-year-old to get him in a baggy green or something. Get these guys in time so they can easily slot in, bite the time when they're learning, and then flourish. Cam Green, we put him in, he's flourishing now. We've got to do that. I think the traditional transition time is after the World Cup. Well, Smith and Warner should hang up and say, look, we've done the 2020, get someone else. Matthew Wade, done with 2020, get someone else in. Tradition is one thing, but you got to do with the time. You got to go with the time. You got to go with the flow. There's 3 formats, bang, bang, bang. A lot of cricket's happening. Guys will have to choose which format they play and let go with the other format and let other players become your national players, learn in the middle and flourish for next 10 years.
Absolutely. I think you're totally right. And we need to do it pretty soon. We're not, but see, those guys are not going to bow out gracefully. They're going to want to continue. Okay, Broad and Anderson in the bowling department for England, they've probably gone beyond their age limits, but they've been successful still. So even those guys probably are
a year or two.
Even though they're the top 2 bowlers in their country ever, in terms of statistics, they need to move on to it. Look, Warner and Smith in particular have to give up the short format, both formats. But they're going to play their IPLs, whatever. I'm pretty sure that's where they're going to go. That's fine. But it's time they give those positions to someone else.
True.
Really.
100%.
And even allow Maxwell, for example, to be more involved as a captain. That's my thoughts.
True.
Ben Stokes was the reason why England won the World Cup. Well, he certainly did contribute greatly, yes. But I think that Bundy is more of a prospect in that regard. Okay. What have we got here? Will Toss be going to important factor in Australia? I don't think so. What do you think?
I think Australia would be different. I know a lot of people were talking this morning, and I was hearing this podcast, and they were talking about a lot of rain coming into Australia in October, November time when the World Cup is going to happen. But if you look at a lot of rain is predicted in central New South Wales, borders of Queensland. I hope it doesn't affect the areas like Perth, Adelaide, where most of the games are, Melbourne. So those areas, those conditions remain constant, I don't think toss will be a factor in Australian conditions. It's early seasons. They are not playing any cricket. They're preparing the grounds for that one whole month. As footy's finished, SCG's been under work, MCG's been under work, Adelaide has been through under work. I know Gabba's been really pushed in. They're not playing the Marsh Cup at Gabba. They're playing at Allan Border Field on Monday, first game. So Gabba's been really getting prepared. So the amount of work that getting into those grounds, I don't think toss is going to be a factor. I think it's going to be who plays a better brand of cricket will win on Australia. It's not UAE where pitches become lower and slower under lights and it becomes skiddy. Aussie pitches normally are, and there's no dew at that time of the year either. In October, November, there's no dew unless it's December, January when it's more summer. So it's going to be a really good contest with bat and ball.
I think let's get the game, as you said. Because Jason saying my number three is not Arthur Smith. Curtis Patterson, Jason Sanger, New South Wales cricket behind the Australian cricket is good players. Yeah, they do play out.
Yeah.
And Joe, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not
True.
Mm-hmm.
Any update on the toss at this point?
I don't think there's
Well, they're meant to be going out now.
Yeah, there was inspection due 5 minutes ago. I haven't seen any update.
We saw the umpires go out. Nothing's been said.
No.
Maybe it's a bit wetter than we first thought.
Yeah, true. But I haven't seen Super Sopper or anything running around the ground either.
No. Oh, hang on. The umpires aren't happy with the ground. Next inspection is 8 o'clock.
Okay, so we wait.
That's 12:30. Another hour.
Yeah, so that
oh
means
my
that
God.
the game's going to be reduced probably 10 or 12 overs a game. So obviously the outfield is that wet that they can't even get the stopper on. So that means it's getting bleaker and bleaker as the time goes. An hour means that that you lose a lot of overs.
Well, it looks like the Pakistan match with England will start before
True.
this match.
It's supposed to start at 12:30, 12:20.
Have we got any update on that?
Nothing on that one. I have seen anything.
They would be very close.
Yeah, I think by
Well, another 20 minutes.
Another 20 minutes, you start to get bit more update on team news or whatnot. I think in my view, England probably will make one change instead of going with 3 spinners. They might go with 2 spinners and a quick to replace. And I think Pakistan will continue to rotate their fast bowlings. I know Naseem Shah pulled out a bit sore after the first game, so they rested him and got Hasnan in. So I think they'll continue with Hasnan today and then rotate him in the next game, because it's good to rotate all the 4 quicks that are probably prime for Pakistan, and they're all 140, 45 plus bowlers, so which is going to be interesting. And it's amazing how they will come in Australia with good form, and Shaheen to add, and they'll have all the it's like all West Indians with all the fast bowlers 145 plus. And Pakistan have got all 4 pacers at the moment who are 145 plus, so it's really amazing.
So who's the man? Who's the coach? So what's his name again?
Sorry, you cut out, Norman.
The coach.
Coach for Pakistan.
Lahore Qalandars.
Oh, Aqib Javed.
I think Dalton. Has he been running those camps again? Ralph and
yeah, he's been doing a lot of work with the youth and doing a lot of talent hunt programs and whatnot. And I think he's serving really well to Pakistan cricket. His program's been really successful over the last so many years. We've seen product of Haris Rauf and co come through that. And if he can produce a couple of another fast bowlers in the next few years, that's all you need. You need to just keep rotating, keep getting the fresh blood in, And I know for Harris, he's got another 10 years or so in him. He'll play Test cricket sooner rather than later, and he'll be serving the country really well. And as I said, four pacemen, all 145 plus. It's really blessed time for Pakistan fast bowling attack.
Maybe Australia should head to the area there and grab them, give them immigration visas and bring them.
Absolutely, why not?
Maybe we're doing the wrong thing. We're not giving anyone bloody visas at the moment anyway. Jesus.
No.
All the women cricketers I'm trying to bring out, I'm getting all sorts of problems. It's really awful.
It is, yeah.
Doug Bollinger was so underrated. I don't know why we're bringing Doug Bollinger. Right. Well, when he had hair, maybe.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, we talked about Todd Murphy before.
Yep.
I think that Anderson will retire after next year's Ashes.
No, he's not going to retire after Pakistan. He might even not go to Pakistan. They're saving both Broad and Anderson to have a fair farewell after the Ashes. And the stories that I'm reading from the press and whatnot, they're reducing the time that Ashes is being conducted over 6 weeks just to make sure that the 100 competition doesn't get affected and their blaster competition doesn't get affected, which I'm disappointed, because the pinnacle of your cricket is Test cricket, and pinnacle of Test cricket is Australia versus England in Ashes. In England, that is the best of the best series that you can see. If people have not seen any best Test series, they should watch 2005 Ashes highlights, and they'll know what I mean. So you can't squeeze Test cricket for blast and 100 cricket. It's just unfortunate. It's commercial interest, I can understand, but you cannot play with the tradition of squeezing 5 Test matches in 6 weeks. It's just going to be ruining the Ashes, the spirit of Ashes, and the quality of the cricket. It's just not fair.
Yeah, I'm miffed why they've got the Vitality Blast, or whatever blast it's called, and it's just incredible. It's like us having BBL and another format. We can't even put one on Little Two.
No, it's just unfair.
I'm going to say it again. I know they've made a big effort with the BBL this year with drafts and what have you, but I believe it's not going to work again.
No, unless you bring private investment.
That's the only way.
It's not gonna. It's just going to become a normal domestic T20 competition with no interest from overseas players. It's just hard to get. There's a lot of people want to play, but then there's no financial incentive for them to come in here. It's not going to happen.
If Cam Grant is offered 10 million from an IPL play in South Africa and UAE, Australia are not going to be able to match those sort of figures.
You forced David Warner this year. Everyone knew that Warner was offered $500,000 contract on table, plus another incentives of a couple of 100,000 on the side, to go and play in UAE comp, and he was happy to forego his Aussie contract. So then he's not under no obligation to play in Australia. But you know they've given him a $350,000 or $400,000 contract to lead Thunder or play for Thunder. But it's how many more years or competitions that you can control like that? You won't be able to. The money is so attractive outside. Shorter competitions, you play for not half of this, but what Big Bash is 7 weeks. You play elsewhere for 4 weeks, earn twice as money, rest your body. You're not fatigued for that much, and you're back with your families. So it's no brainer that people are choosing other competitions over Big Bash.
It's true. The update again, Abhishek Sharma, was it's the toss will be in, or not the toss, but the inspection will be in 45 minutes from now. Delayed again. On the 3rd of November, rain predicted, same day Pakistan plays, and it was a very crucial game. I reckon Australia might have to jig something, or the ICC might have to rejig a few of those dates so things don't work.
That's
Pakistan
true.
should play Wasim Jr. I'm not sure. What do you think?
He's still not 100%. The news that I last got was he's fit. He started bowling in the nets, but I don't know if he's fit enough to bowl in the game yet.
Yep. What's happening with Stark? Don't know about the World Cup. Yeah, I think his days are numbered. Harris Raff was playing great cricket in Tasmania. He was playing for the SCG 11 in Sydney.
Exactly.
The 100 is not cricket. You know what? I actually agree. It's some bullshit format of the game which is ruining it. I'm sorry. It's not cricket.
They're just trying commercial interest, and it's not working. So we've got to make sure we do not push Test cricket. It just gives me heartache when I hear the comments that they're reducing Ashes time to cater for 100 and T20 Blast. It's just not traditionally cricket. You've got to keep your traditional cricket alive, and that's the best of the best series. Australia playing England in Ashes series in England. It can't get any bigger. And you're trying to squeeze that into 5 or 6 weeks just to make sure that you have a window for 100 and window for Blast. It's just not fair for cricket.
No. I just admit I'm not a fan of such cricket as this other stuff that we play in Australia. Last man stands. I'm not a fan of those. That's actually last man stands is actually ruining cricket in Sydney because this saturation point. Okay, it's like a bunch of backyard guys getting together. I get that, but it's actually ruining other cricket because they're making it too suited towards people that play even shorter versions. And I mean, look, it's not. We all have lived through periods where cricket was a longer format. I don't mean 5 days necessarily, but we've got to get away from this bastardising the sport, in my opinion. Okay, but BBL 100 and T20 Blast is nothing. I agree. What's your views on Pakistan Junior League? Well, I think Pakistan have got an incredible amount of talent there that can match any country. I actually still believe Pakistan has the best juniors in the world. Look at the quality of the players they bring in. And good on them for whatever they're trying. I think they're doing a great job. Pakistan's got a huge future. Now that they're playing at home again, Test cricket that is, I think that's a big future.
Absolutely. You just got to get their pitches and grounds right. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. Did you see Hardy play for Australia?
Definitely. Aaron Hardy is an upcoming all-rounder. Hits a big ball and he clocks 140 plus as well. So he's one of the other guys. I had him in Aussie A. We played against India. The guy was coming through. Kid has got enormous amount of talent. He's got to stay fit, stay on park. In another couple of years, he will be your replacement for Mitch Marsh or your a second all-rounder in the wings. I think he's got the amount of talent that he displays, the way he bats, smart enough to bat in any middle order spot, and then he bowls 140 plus. So and with change of paces, good bouncer, good skills.
We've got some. I was worried about Australian cricket, to be honest with you, because in Queensland, even when I was there some years ago, the numbers playing junior cricket were dropping. The same goes with other states. Women's cricket's changed. That's going up. Men's, boys, young adults, they're dropping. So I'm glad we're still bringing through some talent. So I was getting worried. Okay, Sergeant 100 is cricket. He reckons it's not for 90s fans. Yeah, that's for me, I'm afraid. So I'm not one. Lots of families, kids turn up to the 100 in England. Yeah, but it's damaging other cricket. So is that really beneficial? I don't know.
True.
Okay. This is their big selling point, bringing non-cricket fans to watch. Okay. Cricket fans are dropping. Is that really a benefit? Existing drops, new ones come up, but it can't be equal.
No, I see the commercial value of it, but what my point again, Norman, for your listeners as well, I'm not against those cricketers because obviously it brings commercial benefits to the boards, to the countries, to the states, and to the viewership. My point is you cannot reduce Test cricket to accommodate other cricket. You've got to keep the traditional cricket its due respect. For Ashes to go and squeeze playing 5 test matches in 6 weeks is not fair for the cricketers who are commercially trying to survive and also keeping the tradition of the game alive. Traditionally, we have an Ashes series used to go run over 2.5 months of the cricket, but obviously we don't have that much time. But last Ashes series, if you look at, we had 7.5, 8 weeks, and we played 5 test matches. You can't continue to reduce that, because what will happen? Your test cricket will compromise. 6 weeks, 5 test matches is a lot of effort to go through when it's a high stake test series. So you get recovery time next to none to your bodies. What you're treating human beings as robots or what? So we're trying to squeeze out every dime, every dollar out of our cricketers, just so that we can reduce the Ashes over 6 weeks to play 5 test matches, so that we can accommodate Blast and 100. That is not fair on traditional cricket. You've got to allow that test match its due time to be played. The players needs to be treated as humanly, so they have enough recovery time, they play better cricket, and the brand of cricket then gets promoted, and that will bring more audience to your grounds, viewership, and everything. So you can't just squeeze one out to try and accommodate the other. You will actually squeeze the tradition out of the game, which is again not good for the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Daniel Sands, I love him. I love him as a player. I am a Test cricket fan. I love him. You're just a sergeant. Tragic. That's what you are. Hardy, Green are good.
All-rounders.
All-rounders. Okay. That's different. Michael Klinger. Where's Michael? Michael Klinger was so on regular chance. He was.
Same point. Yep.
The public in England love the 100. Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
Okay. Ash Kumar. Chilaga playing Zampa. Yeah, I think they need to give Agar more of an opportunity on occasions, maybe to bowl in tandem with Zampa, because they need him to get up to speed.
Absolutely.
Okay, Sergeant Manager, I'll get you. All right. I'm not saying no, I'm not a fan of 100. I'm not going to compromise. I don't think it is. They've got to have one or the other. Vitality, Blast, or 100. They can't have both. That's where they're making mistakes.
If you heard Dropkey's comment, he's already thinking about to review English cricket, because as we all know, they play a lot of cricket. There's a lot of Duke ball cricket. They start in end of March and April. They go till end of August, and between that season they play a lot of cricket. There's a lot of counties, major and minor, Div 1, Div 2. Then they play Blast. Then they play 2020. There's a lot of cricket, and he's concerned about the quality of cricket in England is dropping. It's over the time it is going to drop, and we all know their Test cricket, they can't find an opener. They can't find a middle order batter, so they are struggling with their Test team in those spaces. And unless or until they review their cricket structure, cricket season, I think the problem is going to go. If you take out Anderson and Broad out of their Test cricket, they do not have bowlers who can take 10 wickets, and that's why those two have been carried for this long, and they will play Ashes because the guys cannot take 10 wickets. They don't know how to take 10 wickets because they haven't played that standard that tough cricket that we know in Australia of.
You're too smart. You should be. You are obviously well thought of Afghanistan, and in state level, plus the Australian team. I'm just trying to find out the series. England series. So England are likely to make a couple of changes going into the third season. I'm sure they will. Ollie Stone and Tom Helm are attention. I'm not keeping pace with Lee Jumbo. Who's Tom Helm?
No, I haven't heard.
We should get David Graves.
I think so. Invite him next time.
Well, I kind of it's been a bit late to invite.
No, not today. Maybe
I've been
for next.
concentrating on the Australia India match for obvious reasons.
Mm.
So that's all right. So what do we got here? Start here. Okay, what do we got? Okay. Pakistan follows shield model. Well, when they follow the shield model, you're talking about with their county cricket.
Yeah, I think it'd be tough for England to have just 6 teams because again their population is quite large for their size as well. So you can't have 6 teams, but you can have and more harder type of Div 1, Div 2, but they play a lot of cricket amongst themselves in county. So that's what Rob Key is actually talking about, trying to revamp or trying to rethink the model which works to try and get a tougher competition and less wasted games, which they play a lot of games which has no consequences.
Okay, so loves talking about some of the young blokes. Rice Street, Henry Hunt, Will Pekoski, Cameron Green, Jason Aaron Harley. They certainly are. And we need to see some of those guys get blooded. Sure. Totally agree.
Norm's coming up 12 o'clock, mate. I'll probably.
All right, you better get past your bedtime. You turn into a pumpkin, don't you?
No. I'm gonna watch a little bit of cricket because obviously weekend. So I'm gonna see if India gets on and hopefully Pakistan doing another good outing as they did last night. So hopefully, the good quality cricket continues and we can keep catching up. And as I said, there's a lot of cricket between now and the World Cup, and I think they'll be good for you to come to Brisbane and we catch up while that.
Well, definitely. I'll definitely.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is at least our time zone. Thank God.
I know. That's true.
Yeah. All right, Moses. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much once again, Ed. Love you and leave you till next time.
Everyone, thank Moses.
Thanks, mate. Cheers, talk. Bye.
We're very lucky to have Moses on as long as we do. Don't forget, he's the assistant. He's the high performance coach, assistant coach of Afghanistan in the World Cup. He will be front and center for all the activities that go in the World Cup, especially for Afghanistan against all the sides that we're seeing, such as India, Pakistan, England, Australia. Okay, so Jason Malcolm, there is a lot of disturbance with your audio. Okay, yeah, I think the connections weren't good tonight. I can't blame it. Ralph Jansen has been, thank you, thanks. It's good to have him on. It certainly is. Sam Hislop, you're right with your predictions. I think you're pretty much right. So let's just see what we've got now. We've got another minute before the Pakistan game starts, as far as the toss is concerned. We'll go and see what happens there. Let's see if we can pull that up. So Will Jacks has been handed his cap in the huddle. It was presented to him by his Surrey teammate Sam Curran, and it seems that Reece Topley's back for Willie too. So there it is, some updates for Pakistan. That's a pretty big thing there. So we can get that up there. So I just said to you there that Will Jacks has been handed. So England v Pakistan. All right, let's have a look here. So we've got Afghanistan versus Pakistan game will be a beauty. It certainly will be. We need more young players. We certainly do. Let's hope for a strong middle order for Pakistan. Will jack us with next Jason Roy. Let's hope. Let's hope. Let's hope. All right, guys. So we're not far away from So as I said, Will Jacks has been handed his cap in the huddle. It was presented by Surrey teammate Sam Curran. And it seems that Reece Topley's back for Willie as well. So there's been 2 changes at least in the England line. Let's see if there'll be more. Early time for the toss. You see the toss is about to hit for this Pakistan-England game, because the Australia-India game has been given a bit more of a bit of time off, I think. So we'll see what happens. Here we go. Pakistan won the toss and were elected to bowl. Pakistan won the toss and have elected to bowl. There we are. There's our record. Pakistan have won the toss in their match and have elected to bowl. Okay. There's the prediction of, which is a good one. Pakistan have won the toss and have elected to bowl. There we go. I post all these on my community page, guys. And they're elected to bowl, not to field, but to bowl. It's good stuff. So it is great. I think it's great for Pakistan. They'll do exactly what they did in the previous match yet again. They'll probably give, obviously, England a chance to score runs and do their bit, and then they'll see a distinct Pakistan lineup come in and take it away from them when they bat. Bumrah Azam scoring 200 run. Bumrah and Rizwan scoring 200 tonight as a batting collection. Yes. Well, they did it last game. If they keep their heads, they'll do it again. Very impressive. But we're not getting any closer to a time frame for the other match. Still another 28 minutes before they get to that. It'll take forever, I'm afraid. Well, let's hope that we get that started. They may be in conjunction with each other. Okay, so it's very close to a start there. Okay, so to hear, you're excited for India for so more. Can't wait for Tim David. Well, let's say Tim David might get a real good Guernsey this time and get a chance to score a lot of runs, because he hits it all beautifully. There's some very nice crisp shots that he lays over there. We've got to wait at least 27 minutes for that to happen. Going back to the Pakistan match, as I said, Pakistan have won the toss and have elected to bowl. We've already heard that Mark Wood is back too. Gosh, there's another. So we've got Mark Wood. Okay, so Pakistan win the toss and bowl, and they have confirmed an unchanged team. Pakistan have not changed their team. Why should they? Won easily in Netherlands. Sure enough, Jackson Topley are in for Hales and Willie, and Mark Wood is back as well. There we have it. That's quite a Pakistan's team. Usman Khadir is there, as well as Harris Ralph, two my favourite people. There we are. So we'll just go through those sides now, shall we? So Pakistan won the toss and elected to bowl, and they've come in with what is effectively an unchanged team. So, yeah, so should Stark be making way for other bowlers in 220s? Jason Malcolm, yes. I agree. Mark Wood will be bowling Thunderbolts. He'll be very, very excited, I'm pretty sure. So the Pakistan team is Azam and Rizwan, with Haider Ali at 3, Shan Masood at 4, Iftikhar Ahmed 5, Kushdil Shah 6, Muhammad Nawaz 7, Shahnawaz Dahani 8, and Muhammad Hasnain is 9, Harris Ralph 10, and Usman Khadir at 11. So they got a pretty good side. So he will challenge with bouncers. Mark Wood, he will challenge with bouncers. But Pakistan are up to it. Just wanting to see there's any other. Okay, so the England team is Phil Salt, Will Jacks will open. So there we have it. Phil Salt, Will Jacks. So Alex Hales is not there. Yeah, so, okay. I didn't realise that. Who's that one there? So England are Phil Salt, who's also the keeper, will open with Will Jacks in place of Hales. David Milan, Ben Duckett, Harry Brook, Moen Ali is captain number 6. 7 Sam Curran, Liam Dawson 8, Adil Rashid 9, Mark Wood and Reece Topley are 10 11. There we have some. Dahani will be handy in Aussie conditions. He will be. He bangs the ball hard on the deck. Yes, he does. So they got quite a revelation there. Let's just see what else is going on. All right, so it's a long series before Pakistan heads to New Zealand. Well, New Zealand can't afford, Pakistan can't afford to wait too long. They've got to get ready for World Cup. So what are we getting here with the other selection? The India Australian matches. Yeah, so again, they're also saying here, while we wait for the ground to dry in Nagpur, we're concentrating on the T20 with Bubba's masterclass. Of course, they kept the same side. England have got Will Jackson in for Hale, and they've also got Reece Topley and Mark Wood back in. Bit of pace there. The toss is still some 22 minutes away in this match. Way too long. Keeping us all waiting. It's not much fun, if I'm being honest. We're going to wait 22 minutes, guys. I'm not sure that I can wait that long. Yes. Let's watch Mark Wood versus Pakistan while ground is still wet. Yes. They're not even showing that at the moment. I wonder if they're showing on other channels because they're earmarked to show Australia versus England. No, they're not showing on the channel. Oh, they're about to show. Yeah, they're about to show here. They're going to show on another channel here. Live World Rowing Championships. Some very fit young women there in Czech Republic. For 5:05, you're right. 5:07. Fox is 5:07. 5:05. No, that's not. They're showing golf from 5:05. 5:07 to here on 12:20. So that's not very far away. They're going to show that match. There you have it. Will Jacks is inconsistent, but he is great for talent. Why is he inconsistent, Sam? Where are you getting these inconsistent? Chilu, what do you think about spinners in Australia's pitch come World Cup? I think they'll play a controlling role. That again, we are playing on the MCG and SCG, so it may have more impact than you imagine, but it shouldn't be as overwhelming, I don't think, to be honest with you. Looking at the 2020 World Rowing Championships here, they keep changing what the channels. It was 5:07 now. Slovenia and New Zealand, 2022 World Rowing Championships in Czech Republic. When will there be a sneak peek of the extravaganza planned on the channel for the T20 World Cup? On this channel, well, I've already given you a bit of a sneak peek earlier. Look at the Opera House there. I've got the top on. Well, this is, although it says 2020, this was meant to be for the 2020 Championship, which is now 2022. So yes, as of October 1st, I'll be giving you the ground inspection. Will be in Brisbane as well at one stage. We'll be eventually going to, obviously, the MCG, India, Pakistan, and we'll go to the SCG, then we'll go to Perth, Adelaide, and back to Melbourne. All right. The SCG does assist spinners, yes. But whether the pitches will be made for that, I don't know. I think there'll be a lot more flat tracks going on there than you think, which won't be as conducive to that at all, guys. That's what I'm predicting. So, yeah, let's have a look. So we got Ireland have qualified. Ireland, Aussie Women's T20 World Cup qualifier. Ireland booked T20 Cup World Cup with a thrilling win. So Ireland booked their place in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup in South Africa in 2023 with a dramatic win over Zimbabwe, the first semi-final of the qualifiers in Abu Dhabi. Okay, that's news to me. So there's going to be a T20 World Cup in South Africa in 2023. That's the next big one. Okay. Which is rather a big deal, I guess. Let's go here. Yes. All right, so great coverage, Norman. Thank you, Tahil. Look, again, I'll be combining with Rev Sports, Extra Time, bit of Sports Tack, bit of Sports Today. Maybe a few other channels will be involved. We might get a bit of India Today as well. We'll be dealing with a lot of Indian channels, but I'm going to be working closely with Buri Majunda, who's got his own channel, Rev Sports, but also Debash's Senate Extra Time. Maybe Kuntal Chakraborty might throw me into Viacom 18 there. But we'll get a few areas of coverage. West Indies cricket is on the decline. We need Kerry Packer. Well, Kerry Packer's dead, I'm afraid, so he won't be helping us out in the hurry to here. But yeah, let's hope that we do get something going for the West Indies. You are right. They sadly need help, the poor buggers. So we shouldn't be only a few minutes away before we get the Pakistan coverage started. What are they saying there? We're still waiting on the other Bubba Masterclass, which is okay. About 20 minutes until the start. Here's your required reading. The Ballad of Bubba and Rizwan. The Ballad of They really are great players, aren't they? They really are good players. And it is a very special, those two guys are special. One's third on the ranking, or thereabouts, pretty close to third, or fourth on the ranking, and one's coming up from there. They're quite a pairing. They can't win things single-handedly, though, but they're going to do a great job, I reckon. We could see Pakistan feature quite heavily in Australia. Mark my words, guys. We could see them. How do you see Harshal Patel's role in the Australia pictures? Will his slow one be effective? Yeah. Well, most of us listening, Bakul Dada, he is the high performance coach for Afghanistan, definitely in the World Cup. Definitely by the World Cup. Marsh and Green from the Dangerous and Cheating World Cup. They're not going to be both playing on it. Tomorrow's grand final, Collingwood, but lost by Sadie or so. Well, not Collingwood, it's now Sydney Swans versus John Cats. And of course, Parramatta have defeated the Cowboys today, so Parramatta will play the winner of South and Penrith. So it's an all Sydney grand final. Doggies are the best. What Bulldogs or Western Bulldogs? Who are you talking about there? We'll get some results before too long. Yeah, we have got some delays going on, guys, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, so Pakistan won the toss and elected to bowl. They've made no changes to their side, but England have made 3. With Will Jacks, Reece Topley, and of course Mark Wood returning to the England side. And I'm not sure why Alex Hales is not playing, but he's not on the side as well. So Luke Wood, I think was the other one, and another player who I can't comment is also out. So that's 3 in for that. Huge changes for England, I'm afraid. Not the same for. So what is the story here? No further. We've still got some 30 minutes before they even not toss. An inspection will be done in 30 minutes for that pitch in India. Pakistan versus England. The weather conditions are similar to last night, but the used pitch has a bit of shine on it. We're very close to starting here. Pakistan won the toss and chose to bowl, not field. They chose to bowl, and we are very close to a start. They've got another 12 minutes before start play, and I'll be showing them on TV as well. If ICC can get back Bill Lowry for T20 World Cup, that would be great. Can't forget, it's all happening at the MCG. Well, I'm afraid Bill Lowry's well past it now. In fact, I'm not even sure how old is Bill Lowry now. Let's see how old Bill Lowry is. Bill Lowry, age. Bill Lowry is 85 years of age. That's why to hear we haven't got Bill Lowry around. He's 85 years of age. He was born in 1937. My mother was born in 1931. Passed away this year. She was 90. Ian Chappell's, let's go back. Ian Chappell's 78. Bobby Simpson's 86. Billy Burnham's 69 from 12 Man. Dougie Waller's is 76. Ian Redpath's 81. Graham McKenzie's 81. Keith Stackpole's 81. Mark Nichols is 64. Who cares about that? Bill Lowry is 85. At least Melbourne games. Okay. David Gow is still there. Yes, he is. He's not going to be there. I'll commentate. Okay. Should be seeing the start very shortly here. Okay, so Shane Watson should commentate for World Cup. No, he shouldn't. He's a mumbler. I don't think he's a good commentator at all. There's a difference between being a good commentator and a good mumbler. When I hear someone mumble. So, we've got a few minutes to go. Well, they're showing how it's rough at the moment. Here in what looks like desert conditions in Pakistan. And Moeen Ali, who's captain of the England side, is he going to be captain for the World Cup? You'd have to assume he will be. Who do you think are the top 3 young Aussie commentators? Right, top Aussie commentators. Well, Jimmy Maxwell's the best, but he's not young, but he's the best on radio. He should be on TV as well. Adam Gilchrist is pretty good. I'd rate Adam Gilchrist. Brendan Julian's pretty good. Adam Gilchrist, Brendan Julian, they're my 2. Adam Gilchrist definitely. Ian Healy is a good commentator. Well, yeah. Adam Gilchrist. As I said before, Adam Gilchrist, Mike Hussey's pretty good. Adam Gilchrist, Mike Hussey, and Brendan Julian are my top three. Slater is lost after he was arrested. Yeah, Michael Slater has been, you could argue, lost to us. He was a good commentator, Michael. I have to agree, he was a good commentator. So we're waiting on this match. So who would have thought the other match would start first? We all thought that Australia-India would be starting first and Pakistan-England would be starting after. But Australia-India is now on delay due to the weather and the wet outfield. Mark Clark said selectors should pick Cameron Green in a T20 World Cup squad if someone is injured because he is really good white ball form. I agree. They shouldn't be waiting for someone injured. They should have picked him in the first place. But surprisingly, they didn't. Very unusual. So the National Stadium in Karachi is where this match is on now. Looks very impressive. The good weather. They're all the third T20 international after England won the first. Pakistan resoundingly won the second, and they're playing again on this ground. And unless something goes wrong with it, with Pakistan winning the toss and electing to bowl first, that they're going to win again, probably with quite certainty. Bad weather in Australia versus England. Yes, the pitch looks warm, very white and pasty. Similar conditions to the first match, but a slightly worse set of, I'd say. The toss went up. Pakistan threw the coin up, and I'm guessing England, Moeen Ali called, and pretty sure that Babar Azam threw the right ball. Okay, Salt, Jacks, Milan, Duckett, Brooke, Moeen, Lily, Sam Cohen, Liam Dawson, Rashid, Topley, Wood. Very understrength England bowling line, if you ask me. Although Mark Wood is back. So Pakistan won the toss, elected to bowl, as I said. We're watching that first, as we don't have any play. Pakistan chose to field. They chose to bowl. You don't, Pakal Dali, you don't chose to field. You want to do something other than just field. You want to battle bowl. So they chose to bowl. So here is Will Jacks getting his cap from Sam Curran. So he's 97th T20 international player. Whether or not he's of course, Pakistan, Rizwan, Baba, Azam, Haider Ali, Shan, Iftikhar, Kushtil, Nawaz, Usman Kadir, Harisraf, Hasnain, and Dahami. Usman Kadir, he and Harisraf were both in Sydney. There we have it. Very proud moment, know them both. It's good cricket. It's back in Pakistan, very important. Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point, Jay. It's important for all cricket to be played in their home countries. And Pakistan should look at that first match. England were 5-199. Moeen Ali getting 55, Duckett 43, Brook 31, and Salt 30. Raf 2 wickets, Tahani 2, and Nawaz 1. Pakistan, none for 203. Baba on 110 and Rizwan 88. And they had a few balls to spare. Otherwise, they cruised. So Pakistan won by 10 wickets, with about as emphatic as you can get. Let's be honest, that is very emphatic. Oh, he just majestically hits the ball. Beautiful shots. That was really quite resounding. Shan Mazood scored heavily in T20 Blast. Okay. Barbara scored 110 off 66 balls in the previous match. Magnificent effort. So this game starts in 5 minutes. The Pakistan-England match, I should say. The other being the Australia versus India, which is probably becoming a lesser match, actually, will probably start. Well, they'll be inspecting the pitch in 5 minutes, whereas Pakistan start their match. Will the match start? Okay. Hello, Pawani Yellowpool. Will the match start? The match will certainly start. Hello. I thought Will Pekoski and Henry Hunt can replace Warner Finch. Why not? Will match happen? Yes, it will. It's really good players like Iftikhar Ahmed have Aussie experience. Yes, they have. So Abhishek and Bhavani are both asked about whether or not the game will start. Well, they can see this Pakistan England match is certainly going to start. That's for sure. That's starting any minute now. He scored 250s last time. Did he take it? Okay. Good quality players. So here in Karachi, crowds excited as they should be. So the Pakistan umpires are going up. Two other umpires, as we all know, I'm going to a shake of the hand there. Alim Dar standing in the 63rd T20 International. His beard's growing nicely, Jeff. And then we have the other umpire is Faisal Afridi standing in his first T20 International. Faisal Afridi. Now, of course, another very famous Pakistani umpire actually passed away, which is terrible. Nagpur is turning as a turning wicket, very scary place to play spin. Okay, New Zealand beat India by their spinners under the T30. T30 or T20? Let's just see. Well, they see the England batters going out to bat. Or the Harris Ralph will face the first ball, or bowl the first ball at least. Phil Salt, who also keeps, has played 7 matches and he's got 108 runs, averaging 18, not very good. 150, best 57. Asad Ralph, correct. Abhishek Sharma. Asad Ralph was the one that passed away, correct. We've got Alim Dar out here now, another man called Afridi coming in for his first. Alim Dar is going to retire in 2060. Well, maybe not. So Will Jacks has played his first match for England. Played 101. He's only 23, right-hand batter. So we'll see how he goes. And the bowler bowling first for Pakistan. We'll see what else. Mohammed Hasnain, age 22, was the right arm fast. He'll be bowling the first over. Alim Dar he will not retire in 2060. That's a bit silly to say that. So Mohammed Hasnain looks young and very talented. Hasnain leaks too many runs, you reckon? Okay, we'll see. He's had the bowl to what looks like Phil Salt. First delivery. And the first ball's been hit to a deep square leg. It needs to be consistent with his line length. Does Hasnain? Well, let's see whether. Okay, we've gone there. Okay, all right now. Let's have what's that. So about the face-to-face one ball. The same spot, or was it the same ball? "30 days to go to Universe Pakistan. Abhishek Sharma, that's a good point. MCG will be roaring on the 23rd of October. Bloody oath it will be. I'll be there. Covering it live for you two. So both batsmen got their singles. Both hit to backward, well, squarely. Pushing singles. India versus, okay. The area of most concern in the Australia-India match is that the wide, deep mid-on the ground staff have been focusing on. Clearly the water from the heavy rain has all pooled in that spot over the last few days. It hasn't dried. So the umpires are out there inspecting it now. Umpires having long inspection. Yeah, Julian Goswami, the opening bowler for India's women's team, is coming to an end of her career. We haven't got any. Let's have a look whether we've got any other. Okay. Now the umpires are coming off. Waiting on. They tell with their faculty, can't believe Richard's board don't have good dryers. Well, that's true. Big super super top dryers, I have to agree. Robert Sharma looks a bit frustrated. He's walking over to find out what's going on, I'm guessing. Umpires are there, and they're shaking it. Aaron Finch has been spoken to. Robert Sharma's been spoken to. Umpires. Umpires have spoken to both captains. That's not a good sign, actually. Umpires are coming back out. So the umpires have finished their inspection, have headed back to talk to the captains. Now they're both coming out again. Umpires. Discussion between the captains and umpires lasted less than 30 seconds. Robert Sharma was laughing with, I saw all that. What does that mean now? Paddy Upton now I can see. They're still trying to dry. The thumbs have gone down. Are their thumbs? So the thumbs down. We're waiting on the whole thing. Haydos is covering the series, and next mentoring Pakistan is correct. Well, still no word. There's a lot of umpires have gone back in the middle. They come back off again. This is agonising, guys. Putting soil or sand everywhere. We saw Pat Cummins and Hazelwood speaking to Andrew McDonald. Everyone's waiting. No one's showing any urgency. I think this is matches abandoned. That's what Sam Hazel thinks. Well, all right, guys. Well, I've been on for 2 hours. I'm doing a lot of a prep. It looks like we may not have any result going on. Obviously, Pakistan and England are into play now. That's progressing with England batting against the Pakistani bowling lineup. Looks very young, youthful, very. And there's just nothing here. No one's saying anything. Here we go. Let's see what they've got to say.
I've got Nitin Menon and K. Ananthapadmanabhan next to me. Gents, what's the verdict? What's the status? And what can we expect?
This area here, Karthik, it's still soft. The sand on top, it seems to be good, but underneath it's still moving. It's not safe for the players, so we're still waiting for that.
With no sun, how do you think it can dry out? What can we expect from it?
So ground staff has tried a lot, and they are still trying. But as you said, with no sun, it is not drying that quickly as was expected. But still, our job and their job is to keep on pushing, and let's see. Hopefully, we can get something tonight.
I understand. It's extremely tough. We've got everybody waiting. We've got two teams. We've got the World Cup in front of us. So many games in front of us. The other thing which is always going to be a cause of concern is injuries. Is that something? Reasons why there has been so much.
Yes, they're not taking a risk. The injuries are the issue. We're not probably going to get any play tonight, guys. It looks like it's not going to be any play. I'd say there's going to be, almost no play at this point because there's no sun out there. They can't really do anything about it, so it's unlikely to be playing here. I don't think this game will go on. I think Australia, England, India will probably not. Well, very unlikely to take place. It's touch and go now. I think it's probably a no-go. And we'll be going back to watch Pakistan versus England, I think. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you go there. At this stage, it looks like there's no game going to take place. We've talked a bit about a lot of things. There's still a third match to be played in Hyderabad, which will come up. But they're shaking hands. The umpires are saying things are nicely there, but the water's too not much entrenched. So I think we're not going to have a game. All right, guys, we'll talk to each other hopefully on Sunday, if not before. Thanks for joining me. I don't think I'll be going on here, but definitely Pakistan versus England's taking place. So watch out for the results on my community page. So view, like, and share my posts. Subscribe and watch Isaac Cricket. We're getting close to the World Cup. October 1st, roughly onwards, I'll be doing daily things about the World Cup specifically. In Brisbane, I'll go around the country. We'll have Bumrah Majumdar here, Tabasha Sen, Kuntal Chakraborty, Harini Rana. Probably have a lot of other people here, I'm sure. It'll be a lot of fun. So I'll talk to you soon. Stay tuned. We'll talk soon.